Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Awaken Together podcast. I'm Kat.
I'm Jen.
And this is going to be our season finale of season 5 and the last episode of the year.
Woo! We made it.
We made it. What a year 2023 has been. In this episode, we're really excited to kind of just reflect on the year that this was and hopefully inspire some reflection for you as well as we go along. We're going to start off with sharing a bit about our Spotify Wrapped. It was so fun to see. So Jen, I'll pass that over to you to share some stats.
Yeah, it's always so fun when we get the Spotify Wrapped because it's just like it's so fun just to have gratitude and hold space for just all the changes. Like this podcast is so intuitive and been so easy for me and Kat to kind of integrate into our life. And then, just to see how it's grown with our community and all of the listeners is so fun. So a few things that we want to share, we got to post on the Instagram page too, but we were listened to in 69 countries. Great number.
Great number.
We were the top 5 podcasts for 492 of you and the top podcast for 76 people, which is so amazing. Thank you to all who are listening. And we created 808 minutes of content for you guys, which is just such a cool number. Mm-hmm. Kat had a little side. You said it was the frequency of bass.
Yeah. So 808, it's like a big number in bass music. It's like the frequency that a lot of bass music is aligned with. So I'm like, hell yeah, 808, creation, abundance. Here we go.
So thanks for being vibey, guys, is what we're here to say. And we really do appreciate the growth and just listening and traveling this awakening journey with us. It's actually wild that we are now at the end of season 5 when this was just a little whim idea one day. And here we are just like so many years later. And we really appreciate you all.
So grateful. Yeah, what a journey it's been. I can't believe it's our 3rd year really doing this. We're heading into our 3rd year. We started this little pod in 2020. Mm-hmm. So here we are now.
We've grown so much.
We have as people, as speakers, I think, hosts. So,
huge. And for this episode, so we have done this at similar end of year episodes previously, and we definitely invite you to refer back. We had an episode already with a guided meditation for a previous year in review. And in this one, we wanted to provide you just some journaling prompts and kind of share our own reflection of the year that we've had. And we're also going to use the same prompts not only to review 2023, but also kind of to set in motion intention for 2024. And me and Kat are fresh off of just having a little vision board party. We just made our vision boards for the year and got to review it. Me and Kat also started our periods today.
We're synced.
Just as a side note, in Mercury retrograde, sitting here, really in sync with everything happening. And we have just spent some time just talking through some of the year, and we just wanted to share it with you. Yeah. So as an overview, we are going to break this into 4 categories: home, mind, body, and spirit. And we'll go over our own processing so you can hear. So if you want to journal along with the episode, you can get your journal and just kind of separate the pages into 4 sections so that you can kind of think through the different categories and which things that have happened over 2023 kind of like pinball into all of these different sections.
Yeah, this is truly, I get so excited for this time of year. It's one of my favorite times of year. It's so funny, the ending of it. Mm-hmm. But I find so much beauty and power in sitting down, journaling, actually reflecting on this year's teachings. Mm-hmm. I think it can get forgotten, like all the little things, all the things that at the time feel like the big things, and then more things just happen that feel bigger, that everything starts to kind of get forgotten or it gets stored away into the little compartments of our mind that like the memory's there, but it's not when we think back on the year, like it's not really loud. And so
Mm-hmm.
this exercise has been such a powerful ritual in my life. I know in yours too,
Mm-hmm.
Jen.
I've been doing this for years and years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if we don't take this time to intentionally sit down and collect all of the blessings, the lessons in the year, it will truly get forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
And so we make a little journaling archive, write it down, store it, and then we can take all the lessons and begin to integrate them into our greater lives to
Mm-hmm.
never be forgotten. And this is what it means to live intentionally, live consciously.
Mm-hmm. And we got this concept. So, Kat and I have shared this many times on the podcast that Yoga Girl podcast was something we were both listening to. It's what ended up leading us to meet each other. And this comes from Rachel Brathen, who had broke down this concept of breaking it into home, mind, body, spirit. And because I have years of this now, it's also been really fun just to kind of keep building on it. So, if this is new to go into kind of a deeper reflection, this system is really just like a fun way to categorize.
Yeah. And like Jen mentioned, we're going to go through those 4 categories: home, mind, body, and soul or spirit. And in last year's episode, we went through a full meditation to really help you close your eyes, reflect, and watch the year as if it were a movie in your mind. So if you'd like to do that before this episode or before you really get into your journaling, you can reference back to the episode we posted on December 30th, 2022. And it's going to be very similar activity with the journaling, but just an extra meditation to help you drop in that one.
Yeah. So let's start this off, Kat. So beginning with the home category, and I can start us. And overall, my word of the year was experience. And I have said on the pod and to Kat many times, I picked an ambitious word because I experienced so much this year. And I think home was a pretty hefty category for me as far as what went down in 2023. So I actually spent 4 months of this year living in Chicago. And I did a travel assignment there. So my sense of home had to really shift. Not only was I living in a completely different city and a completely different space and leaving my home here in Denver behind, but I also then had to kind of figure out what home meant very internally, not just externally, because there was such a shift in groundedness that I could tap into because I didn't have any of my normal surroundings. I think that was just super introspective for me. And then even leaving Chicago and going back to Denver took such an adjustment too, because my sense of home was just so kind of shaky and bumpy. But I really think that I built what makes me feel grounded and safe kind of within in a deeper way, which kind of falls into some other categories. And then under home too, we like to look at not just what shifted in home life, but what also shifted with kind of family life. And I actually got to spend some really, really good quality time with family. My grandma lives pretty close to Chicago, so I got to spend some really nice one-on-one time with her. I had my family come up from Florida a few times. And yeah, there's always so many layers of healing to just be with my family because I've shifted so much as a person. So it's always, it doesn't necessarily lead to tons of shift in how my family orients. They're pretty kind of set in their ways, but it's always really beautiful to see how little that kind of shakes me up and how little I respond to it now just from my growth. But another huge layer of family this year was Danny and I have come out as poly. We have been exploring that lifestyle, and we ended up opening up to my in-laws, Danny's family about this. So there was a lot of vulnerability and shift with coming out with this new information. I think there was a lot of processing, lots of emotion. It really went on a roller coaster and ended up landing in a beautiful spot. But that was also very vulnerable for me. I'm so used to keeping secrets and not going into stuff because of my upbringing and just not really having a safe space. So to be vulnerable about something happening in life and come out about it like way louder and openly and have to have really intentional conversations was also really, really huge. And I think with being able to share like Polly with my sister and my cousins and just like some of my family members, knowing like who my safe spaces are that have kind of grown with me and accept just like lots of layers of me, that meant a lot too. And I've just got to see the shift. So home for you, Kat. How has it been?
Such a big category, man. It's like your friendships, relationships, family life, home life, like, oh, it's just so much. What a year it's been.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kyle and I celebrated being in our physical home, the one that we bought March or really February 2022. We've been here for almost 2 years now. So we celebrated a year in this home, and with this year, our big home project was landscaping the backyard.
It looks so good.
So we spent a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of care and energy in doing that. And now we love it. We have this really big space to call our own. And we've got grass and we've got rocks and mulch and plants. So it feels really good to have a little oasis back there. And man, this was a massive year for our relationship, for Kyle and I, our marriage, so much. So we found this amazing couples therapist. This is our third one that we've worked with, but she's by far the best. Of course, she doesn't accept insurance. So that was like a hard pill to swallow, but we were like, it's so worth it. So if anyone else is out there, like kind of deciding, if they're already working with someone who does couples therapy, or if they're trying to get into this route of really deepening and honing your communication skills and any issues that you have, really, it can benefit literally any and every couple, because there's just so much to learn, and having someone kind of highlight the shadows and what you're doing really well is so validating. So that's been incredible. We've worked on our relationship so much. We've worked on finances together, our viewpoints, our perspectives, and how to come together and have a deeper level of understanding on that. Sex has been a big one for us. Just like how to, after 12 years of being together, like how to continue having strong levels of intimacy, which, there's so much you can do, so much you can learn. And kids was really a big goal that I had for this year. I've shared on the podcast before how I've known that I want kids, and I've had that clarity for a really long time, and how Kyle hasn't, and he had like a very different upbringing. And so his experience of arriving in that decision has been not as clear and straightforward, and it's taken a lot of therapy on his own and individual therapy, as well as in our couples therapy. And just this past week, really, mid-December, we finally came to a decision. So years in the making, Kyle has decided, I'm so excited to share, that he wants to have kids. So things are feeling really clear and just so grounded now in our relationship, and everything has just gotten so much easier now that we have this massive potential roadblock for our futures moved away. And it was really hard, really dark, really low points this year together. And I'm just elated, like no words to share how at peace I am now that we've come out the other side together. And this whole process has been incredibly painful, but it's also brought us stronger together. So amazing communication skills. I just kind of feel like we're at this all-time high after being at this all-time low literally weeks ago. So it's been like a lot, but really looking forward to just holding where we are now for as long as we can. And knowing that there will be hard times in the future, and that all the work that we've done won't go away. Like healing is not linear. So just keeping all that in mind too.
Yeah.
And we had a car crash in late October, which was really scary and really crazy and brought up a lot of stuff. But like it actually ended up on the better. It ended up better than it was before because we got more money for a new car. Our insurance premium, yeah, it's gone up, but insurance also sent my friend who was in the crash with us, Margie, $1,000, and she wasn't injured, so she just gets to use that on rent.
Nice.
So it's great. During a transition she's going through too.
So glad you're okay. It was scary.
It was so scary. Yeah, that's a whole story. But yeah, and then for me, myself, kind of in this home category, I had a coming out of my own. A coming out, a coming in, I don't know. Oh man, yeah, in like April, May of this year, I had this realization as we were working on our sexuality in couples therapy that I myself like have this attraction to women and that I'm bi, and just kind of grappling with what that means because yeah, I am married and in a monogamous relationship that won't be opened anytime soon. And so just grappling with like, okay, the grief of never being able to explore that and just like being okay with that, really. So processing through all of that and getting to decide like what this means for me as a person and being able to like embrace this queer side of me and then also have feelings that like, yeah, I kind of wish this wasn't here because my life was a lot more convenient and easy before this realization. So a lot in the home category for me too.
We had so many of this was like woven in with parallels too. It was really wild. I think we both had to learn so much about like, yeah, sitting with feelings, sitting with like communication in like a completely different way, holding space for just layers of subconscious stuff coming up, like, whew, a lot. So much. It was, yeah, it's always nice. Me and Kat's journeys are always complementing in the ways that it needs to be to hold like really beautiful space for each other. And yeah, we've needed a lot of that through this year and it's been crazy.
Yeah.
All right, and then shifting into the mind mode.
I feel like we need a deep breath to cleanse home.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Let's do it.
I could use it. Okay,
that was our thickest one, yeah.
That was a big one, yeah. All right, sweet, nice, tall seat, deep breath in, out. Yes.
Yes, mind. Yeah, this category I think had a lot of like really beautiful energy behind it. Like looking at mental health, I could categorize it as completely chaotic, but honestly, I am so grateful that I actually experience the things that come up to such a fuller degree that I don't even really want to label it as chaotic, because it was, but it also, I've fought like hell to be able to shift my perspective, shift my mindset, sit with more feelings. And, you know, even if it felt really intense at times and some of that blends into like body, I also feel like I really gave so much space because of just the mental growth that I've had. So there was just a ton of mindset shifts. I felt very vulnerable this year, like very exposed. Nothing felt, I wouldn't say that it was all like met with like full confidence, but it was just kind of a witnessing and a watching of a lot of layers of myself kind of just being worked through because I had so much perspective change with all of the shifts happening. But I think mentally I held space for the uncertainty. I watched it. I think I stayed pretty reflective throughout a lot. I read 50 books this year.
Wow.
So my head got lots of information and that was really fun too. I've been kind of getting back into fantasy, I love learning still. So I read a lot of nerdy books too. But yeah, it was nice to kind of explore going into fantasy at times too, and just letting myself like daydream and think through different things and giving space for wild thinking. And books are such a catalyst for me for, yeah. Every book I read, I feel like it kind of like I parallel it through so much of my life. And Kat and I got kind of nerdy in reading. Medical, intuitive, psychic, medical intuition. And we went down some like, fun, like learning so we can keep integrating more levels of our healer selves and our psychic selves. And that's been really kind of fun too. And then, I'm still making lots of content. I do creative content. I made it to 160,000 followers on TikTok, and it's good in my mental, like, brain. I have, such an entrepreneurial spirit that's never going to go away. And it was just nice to keep building momentum on that, even through all the changes. I have, like, a really steady goal of, like, where I want to keep taking my virtual stuff and all the little, all the little avenues of business stuff is just always good. And it was on the forefront. I had some pretty crazy shifts. I almost ended up on a Netflix show, which was wild to hold space for because I was like in the final meeting with executive producers. So that ended up falling through, but it was still such a journey to see like what my mindset does when there's like huge angst and then nothing you can really do about it. That was kind of like a theme. Just like kind of realizing that I have to just keep embodying what I want, and then the things will come, as they come. And if it moves forward, it's meant to move forward. If it goes a different direction, it's meant to. But just like letting my mindsets really be fully centered around just the growth that I want, the deeper healing that I want, and being okay, even if that mindset is sometimes a little chaotic and not easy to grasp. And I think I really like kind of played that dance this year. Yeah.
So good. Yeah. Lots of growth, man.
Yeah.
So mine for me was super interesting. I marked a year and a half of being off of hormonal birth control. And with that, I felt such a massive shift in pretty much every area of my life. Like, I had no idea how strongly I was affected by those hormones that were artificially in my body for 15 years. But they really did, like, shape a lot of my personality, a lot of my energy, a lot of even my attraction, like, that realization of being bi, like, that came this year after my hormones started to settle out. Truly, like, it has been not even a full year of having a normal cycle. It's been, I don't know, like 6 months at this point of having a normal, healthy hormone cycle. And so much has changed. My moods, like, I have more feelings now.
Which we've learned to love.
I have more feelings now. And now it's actually, it's a good thing, of course, but like, it's not as comfy. It's not as easeful.
Inconveniencing. In quotes.
Exactly. But it's actually like, in terms of my relationship with Kyle, my husband, like, it's actually really helped that because he naturally is such a strong feeler. I'm a little Cancer, I always say. And it's kind of helped remove, like, gaps with us in our relationship because I can just more easily meet him where he's at, and he can understand and hear, like, the hard things that are happening for me without having to dig for them because they're just more available to me and more present. So I always used to joke how I was like the steadiest person, and I was, but it was artificial, unfortunately. It had a little like muting from the hormones. So now it's just like it's taken the veil off, it's taken that layer off, and it's just very present and real and authentic. So another thing this year is I've practiced a lot of self-advocacy. So at work is probably like the biggest area of that, like holding boundaries, asking for bonus structures, holding to it, and holding to like the hours that I'll work, the things I'm willing to do, the things I'm not. So this just comes from like a really strong sense of self-worth, which I'm so grateful to have. And it's just a result.
Like hell to get it.
Exactly. It's a result of all the hard freaking work that I've had to do to get here and will continue to do, you know? So yeah, that self-advocacy in my relationships, like asking for what I need, sharing how I'm feeling in the moment without letting it build up and then having a little like outburst, you know, when I've like reached my max. So all those big things. Listening still to lots of self-help books. Like Jen said, I'm a big Audible girly. So whenever I walk my dog, I'm constantly listening and taking in different stimuli in terms of like...
We're air signs.
Can you tell?
What we do.
Can you tell? The input is unreal. Just taking in, learning, growing all the time. Yeah, so couple books, couple podcasts, just feeding my soul in all the good ways. But I feel like I'm sensing it might be time for a little bit of fiction. Like,
yeah.
It's been a
Let me give
non-fiction
you my
kick.
fairy smut.
I know. I think I'm ready. Everyone's telling me the fairy smut. I'm like, bring it on. Here we go. It's time. I'm ready.
Yes. Yay.
Yeah.
I've waited.
Right? Yeah. So also this year has been a lot of like deepening beautiful friendships. It hasn't been a lot of like new friendship forming kind of on purpose, which might sound bad, but it's not. It's like noticing how much energy I have and how I do have tons of energy, but I want to reserve that energy for the people who I have in my life, who I love so much, in developing these friendships and growing them. It's been such a highlight of this year, and seeing which ones, you know, naturally grow and strengthen, like ours, of course, consistently over time, and then which ones, you know, it's like kind of take a turn, and it's not like a intentional turn as much as it is just like where we are in life, and how that's okay, and that's actually really healthy and natural and normal. And just like life, relationships will ebb and flow too. So.
Our little women's group here in Denver gets a special little shout out because we've had so much fun this year. Murder mystery party. We did group trip. It was like, it's just been really, really beautiful to watch the closeness of that. The escape room party.
Yeah. It's like such a safe, vulnerable space where we've all shared and cried and held each other and held space in so many ways that like getting out and doing things together has been a big theme of this year.
So nice.
It's been fun. And then, yeah, we had Electric Forest, we had Burning Man, which I'll talk more about in Soul. But in terms of Electric Forest, we decided this is our last year of going for a little while, which is so sad. Like, we had to really get some closure this year at the festival. We just decided, you know, we've been 8 years and so much has happened, so much has changed for us. And the festival isn't changing as much as we are. And so we just want, as quickly, I should say, we just want a little bit of space in between now and the next time we revisit to see what other magic they create there and allow that time and space and funds to be put towards some newness.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Breathing in and out for mind.
Yes. Inhale mind, fill up with all that. Send it out, let it go.
Nice.
Yes.
All right. Into the body we go. Yeah, body for me definitely had some good shifts too. So obviously with being poly and exploring new relationships and being in another partnership, like the layers of learning my body in whole new ways has been so real. Lots of, which, by the way, you guys love the Let's Talk About Sex episode. That one did really well in the season. And yeah, so much about learning just more layers of my sexuality. And I think a huge thing for me is I'm pretty much sober. I do not, like, I drink so rarely, and
California sober.
yeah. And, you know, there was even just like, there was a night that I was like, you know, I want to drink. Like, there's going to be some more vulnerability. And then I drop the wine bottle and it shatters like everywhere. So, like, I've just been cut off. I'm just in a phase right now. Drinking's just not happening. I can't use it to really escape much. And so that's left me very exposed when it comes to exploring new sexuality, exploring way different, like, variations of sex. And this has been like, yeah, there's been a lot of journey on that, and doing it sober and realizing how much of stuff I used to just do, like, so close to blackout because I didn't want to experience the vulnerability behind it, and then adding in the vulnerability behind it and realizing, like, it's fucking scary to ask for things to be different. It's scary to keep changing the script on what you do and don't do with your body, to voice, like, what feels good, what needs to shift. Like, I unpacked so many layers of that. So, and also with me and Kat, like, being the intellectualizers we are, and in my head, like, I've always had to get creative to get out of my head, but it's also been, really important to realize just another layer of nervous system regulation and how good I do with, like, feeling really emotionally safe. I think I used to meet my wild sex, with just, like, such a lack of not just vulnerability, but it was never really with super strong emotional connection. I really dipped out of emotion as much as I could for so long. So adding in those layers has been, like, very exposing, and actually carving out time for myself to connect with my body, and how important that is for my own regulation, and just being able to have a better inner compass of what my body is trying to tell me means that I have to have carved out time for myself too. And I've tried to get really good about that this year to build a deeper language. I have my happiness formula. I've shared that, I think, on here before too. And it's so nice that it's so easy to take care of my body in the, like, workout sense, and just, like, keeping myself, like, strong and focusing on, like, that is so locked in that it didn't falter with traveling. And it just feels good that now what used to be the hardest thing to get a rhythm with is now so in tune that that's not even, it's so automatic, I guess. And that's such a fucking gift, because that was the hardest thing for so much of my life, having just so much wounding around my body image, being overweight, struggling with so much of that when I was young, that now having that, like, solid connection with my body is just beautiful. And I got a couple new tattoos. That's changed in my body too. So that was fun. Just another little layer I was thinking about for it. And thank you, body. We have learned a lot, and it's been scary, and we have done it. So,
Yay. Yay, bodies.
Yay, bodies.
I love it. We're in such a good spot with our bodies. And it's been quite a journey, like you said. Yeah. It was a really good year for me and my relationship with my body as well. I had a new movement modality come into my life this year. Shuffling.
I love your shuffle videos. They're
oh
so
my
good.
gosh, it's so fun. And it's very much still, like, it's still new to me, and it's so fun to be learning and back in the seat of the student. And it's very humbling because, you know, practice like yoga, I've been practicing for 10, 11 years now. I've been teaching for almost 10 years. And, you know, it's like you start to be like, okay, this is my 1000th, you know, downward facing dog, or, you know, God facts, whatever. I wish we could actually know that.
So, wild.
Think about it all the time. Like, how many have I done?
Insane.
But it's great to just experience like things that are hard and things that are new and different. And that's what this has been for me. And it's so fun for me to just be able to whip it out at all the shows I go to. And it brings me so much joy. I'm constantly like giggling and laughing while I'm doing it and learning on YouTube and just all sorts of different videos. It's endless amounts of things to learn and practice. So it's here to stay. It's my cardio workout, which feels really, really good. So that's been a fun new modality for me. Still practicing yoga and teaching, still doing Pilates and kickboxing videos here and there. So keeping it fresh, walking a couple times a day. It just feels like a really good rotation of movement activities. So filling my cup feels really good. I kind of mentioned before how my hormone cycle is normal now. Healthy hormones, my energy levels are really good. I can tell I'm super in sync with my body now when I know my period's coming, like my luteal phase. It's so fun to just be in communication with my partner about this too. Like, it's a luteal phase, and he knows what that means. Like, he knows I might get a little cranky and to not take it personally. He knows to be a little bit gentler with me. He knows that I'm going to be more tired, and so maybe we just like plan less on those weekends when I'm in this phase and stay in and just like have fun with that. So, yeah, he also, this is really funny, but instead of calling ovulation like ovulation, when we know that's the time when you're like super confident, kind of horny, not kind of very, like your skin's glowy, it's like you're very energized. Instead of calling it ovulation, he calls it the bootial phase. Because it's booty time. So we got the bootial and the luteal phases.
I love that.
Yeah. So that's been super fun to like, get close over and just having communication.
I love that.
And then I also got 2 new tattoos this year.
Yeah, woo!
After like I hadn't gotten a tattoo since 2015. This is my first 2, and I got 2 this year. So I don't know, it was a big year.
I love them.
Yeah, thank you. I got one to honor the light and one to honor the dark.
I love that.
And the dark is also a best friend tattoo with my bestie back home in Massachusetts. So
cute.
Lots of sweetness. It's a snake, and it was also the day that we got into a car crash together. And we're like, oh shit.
A rebirth signal.
Oh shit, is it the snake? Like, what did we just do? And then we're like, no, it's a good thing.
A rebirth cycle. For sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's body.
Yeah, let's breathe it out.
Let's breathe it out. All right, inhale for love. Release.
All right. And then final category, soul, spirit. Yeah, I mean, this category so much kind of like, comes with everything else combined. Just, I always can zoom out and see such spiritual meaning behind what I'm learning. And I, in this point of my awakening, see so much adversity and problems as being just like the universe's gift to help me unpack another layer of myself. Nothing ever feels deeply personal. It's always kind of a beautiful co-creating with the universe. So everything kind of feels very spiritual to me. But yeah, it was really fun. I think with kind of us reading more about medical intuition and stuff and always kind of fine-tuning psychic gifts, we had some of our guest episodes kind of went into some of that as well. And I really did a lot of play when I was taking the train in Chicago on like feeling what my body would feel like, and then looking over at someone. I can see auras around people like so much clearer now, and just being able to see auras and also then see what shifts in my own body, and then practicing recentering and then re-clearing. I just did a lot of like play with that on the train, since I was taking the train like an hour and a half each day. It was like this little just kind of fun energy game I gave myself. I had some really beautiful mushroom experiences this year that have been, I feel like we unlocked a portal in February with our women's group one.
That was last December.
Oh, that was last December. Yeah, so leading up to this year. Yeah, that was crazy. And then, the layers of, Yeah, trip healing is always such a thing, and you can see it so much more in retrospect, and I love that. I was supposed to lead a retreat in February that ended up falling through, and me and my co-creator Phoenix ended up going to our Airbnb anyway, and we had just a really, really spiritual experience just creating virtual content in that space. And yeah, we created the Inner You program that gives you like a guided inner child, inner teen, and inner 20s healing, and then how to integrate it. And just making that program was so healing as we were like clearing our own. It ended up being so deeply personal and beautiful, lots of emotional release. Me and Kat had our witch retreat in New Orleans, and it was so beautiful. Our group was amazing. It always is magic every single time. And I was so grateful for that space. And I really needed that circle and space at that time, just going through heartbreak and just lots of layers of things. And that was just really, the retreats are just such a circle for whatever the needs are of the whole group. It ends up being such a bigger guided experience than even just Kat and I. You get so much deeper assistance, and that's beautiful. And then very recently I had a healing, light language healing session with Christina, who we've had on the podcast. And I have a new ascendant master working with me as a close guide that came through, and that was a really, really powerful session. I know, like, that was the seed of a lot of change and shift too. So yeah, that was kind of my top spirit category moments.
Love it. Love to hear it. Big things.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I was thinking all the way back to New Year's Day this year, and I led a super special workshop on New Year's Day at Nurture, and we did a dynamic meditation. It was sold out. It was a packed house with like 25 people, and it was just really, really incredible. And just like the takeaways and the energy and like the gifts I got from that day were just, it was awesome to kick off the year from that really mindful space. And it's hilarious because the word that I actually set for this year was peace. And when I think back, I'm like, I was in a very different mind space when I created that. I was like, I think I was in a very grounded place and I was just wanting more of that. But in reality, it's like not my soul's journey of what my soul actually needed this year to be. And so about halfway through the year, I had that reflection moment and I was like, no, peace isn't serving me this year. This year's about exploring my inner workings, exploring the psychedelic realm, exploring new spaces, relationships, all the things, sexuality. So, it was cool because, like, I'd never done that before. It had that midway through the year empowered moment of, like, you know what? Nah, like, reset. Here's what it is. And that felt really, really good. So I'm going to continue to make that, like, a little mid-year check-in of, like, how is this going? Is this still in alignment? Or do we need to shake it up? And not feeling any guilt around doing that. So that was fun. Also, a big thing of this year for me spiritually was going to Burning Man. It taught me so much resiliency, not just on a physical level of dealing with discomfort and mud and rain and heat and dust, but also like even more on the inside of the emotional, spiritual, like, you have to be so open for that experience. And the more open you are, the more you can just be in the seat of surrender and receiving what's meant for you, like the more easeful and enjoyable and impactful it's going to be. So that's what I did. That's what I got. It was so fun. I went out of this fucking world, journeyed to outer space, came back multiple times in a week.
Portal potty.
Hashtag portal potty. We're just going to leave that there.
A little nugget.
Amazing. Yeah, I emerged from a porta potty one night with a life-altering realization. And I still think back to it. I'm like, damn, that was deep. Okay, portal potty. Oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah, so that was amazing, crazy, powerful healing takeaways that I've still been integrating since August. Amazing. And then the Akashic Records course that I'm in right now, it's a self-guided 5-week course, and I'm learning how to access my own Akashic Records. And it's so special. It's actually, if you remember Jen Hoffman, we've had her on the podcast twice. She's amazing. We had her on this season about talking about birth as a portal. And she also has read Jen and I's records. She's read a lot of the records of our friends and clients. And so the course that I'm participating in right now was created by Jen's teacher, Rita, who is wonderful. And I'm actually going to have my records read by her as well, I think in a week or two on the 28th or something. So excited for that. And my goal and intention with this is to get super comfortable being in the Akashic, understanding my own records, and then hopefully, if it feels aligned, be able to offer readings to others and be of support in that way when accessing kind of that realm and seeking insights. So very excited for that. Jen mentioned our retreats. Our retreat in New Orleans was freaking amazing. It was a dream come true. I love NOLA so much. Our group was amazing. Just like the witchy magic cultivated. I'll never forget it. And then I also led a retreat in Idaho Springs. It was my first solo in-person retreat earlier this year in either March or April now. I'm like, I need to look back at the dates. I think it was April. And it was just so beautiful too. A lot of the same girlies at both retreats. And they become family. So yeah, Power of Retreats, more to come on that. We're already planning our next witchy one, which we'll reveal sometime early in the new year to give lots of time to plan and save up. But we're super excited about this next destination. It has been requested for some time. So just you wait. And here on our Instagram is the best way to listen. Awaken Together podcast on Instagram. Then, I continued my morning rituals with my morning meditation, my walk, connecting with myself. It was a little bit less consistent this year than it had been in other years, but I'm giving myself grace with that and realizing that that's okay. There's something to sitting down in sadhana every morning in your spiritual practice. And then there's also like understanding when it needs to just flow with you in life. So that's been really nice this year too. And a space for me to continually come home to myself each day, start the day off with presence and awareness with whatever that looks like for the day. And looking forward to continuing that in the new year.
I love it. All right. Final breath.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Inhale. Out.
Beautiful. Yeah, so as you do your own journaling for these 4 categories, you can not only do a review of 2023, but also take another separate page, write these words down again, and just look to the year ahead in that same sort of spirit. We won't go through all of our own personal, but we did some of our own reflection. And I'm really looking to 2024 to be just a year of fully embodying my knowing and trusting my knowing and integrating a lot of knowledge and stuff that has come in and just sitting kind of inward in that knowing as well. So knowing is kind of feeling like my word. Anything coming for you, Kat?
Yeah, the word that I'm chewing on right now is trust. Trust in myself, trust in the process, trust in the divine timing of the universe and my life. So trust is what's feeling really good for me right now. We'll see if after a little bit more journaling and these last couple moments of the year, if that's what really solidifies it. So more to come.
Yeah, so we will be starting our season 6 in February. And we also, if you want to check out our Instagram in January 1st, we're going to be sharing some stuff on our page, doing a little giveaway. So check it out. We like to do stuff kind of in between seasons, and it's your time to catch up so that you're ready for season 6. We already have some really powerful episodes lined up, and yeah, we're excited just to keep this journey going. Thank you for spending some time in reflection with us, hearing our journeys and supporting us along the way. And we really hope that 2024 is a beautiful year for you it meets you with all the things that you need.
That's right. And the good thing is astrologers and numerologers, everyone's saying that this was a really big year for transformation and growth. And there was going to be some hardship with that, right? And 2024, they're saying, is going to be a bit more easeful.
There is a lot of collective shift that we had to kind of go through to sit in a different sort of power coming into what's coming. Like, as you can feel in the collective, like, there's been a lot with this war and all of the stuff. Like, there's been a lot of personal development that was needing to happen to step into power so we can continue to shift stuff for the better. And by embodying our own journeys, it ripples into the collective. It's all one and the same, as we have shared on here many a times. So yeah, I think we all had to dig a little deeper this year into some of the hard shit to be able to really integrate and step into truth and power and knowing for 2024.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. The numbers 2024 add up to 8. And I remember learning that that's like super abundant and it's a really positive number. So all the stars are lining up for it to be a great year. And you know what? It's going to be a great year.
Yes,
because we're saying it's going to be a great year. So it is.
Yes, that's right.
That's right. We love y'all so much. And please let us know if you have any requests for the new year. Keep in touch with us on Instagram. And we'll see you in 2024.
Thank you.